You're tuning into the podcast series We Talk Cyber with Monica, your platform for engaging discussions and expert opinions on all things cyber. For more information, check out monicatalkcyber.com, and let's hop right into today's episode. Welcome to today's episode of We Talk Cyber with Monica. I'm your host, Monica Verma. Today we have a very special guest. He is Lars Eirik Berg, the CSO and CISO of DNB. Welcome, Lars Eirik. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing fine here. Stuck in at home office as most of us are these days, but as you can see around me here, live from my 6-year-old room, so you'll see unicorns and teddy bears. So that is the normal, new normal now.
Honestly, I prefer that background over the blurry backgrounds that people have, so that's fantastic. It's lovely to have you today, Lars Eirik, and we'll talk a bit about cybersecurity approach and the holistic approach, how to deal with it, and your opinions on that and your thoughts on that. And let's start with, first, I want to give an example. So one of the security researchers, known as Dan Farmer, said this: if security were all that mattered, computers would never be turned on, let alone hooked into a network with literally millions of potential intruders. What is the biggest challenge that we are seeing in the way we approach cybersecurity?
Oh, that is a good question. I see quite a lot of challenges, but I think one of the main challenges is merging the technological side and the human side of security or cybersecurity. And also making us security professionals understand the business better as well. We can, in today's world, we can't only focus on the technical side of security. We need to understand and support the business. We need to create security solutions that's actually working almost out of the box. They need to be pre-tested with the business. Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest challenge I see is changing the way we work with security. That's the reason, as you start with having a holistic approach to security, especially for us security leaders. Mm-hmm. We need to focus out of our box. We need to approach the business in a completely new way, I would say. That is one of the challenges I see from my perspective.
Right. I mean, it makes total sense, because if you look at it, there are a lot of companies that either believe they can just buy a security patch or buy a product and fix security. But on the other hand, there are then companies that don't want to invest in technology at all to fix or to better the security maturity level, right? So where do you see should be the focus, and should one find a balance, or how do you recommend organizations and businesses take the approach to it?
I would certainly recommend the balance to it. We need, of course, good technical security. That is the baseline for everything. But the business as well needs to understand that they're moving forward. And you go more and more to the cloud. You have new solutions. Right. So the security work as well need to be included in the business. As you see, DevOps, DevSecOps, etc. You need to have security from the beginning, from the planning phase, so that security isn't a hinder, isn't stopping the business.
Yeah.
That traditional way of working with security, to put it like that, is, I think we have all experienced it. We come in late in the process. We say that something is wrong. Security is not a business enabler. We are actually the handbrake of the business sometimes. At least it can feel like that.
That's what we see, right? I mean, there is a lot of this, still the concept of security hindering the business. And you're talking a bit about security business enabling the business. And if you talk about it from a cyber attack or cyber defense perspective, you see that the intruders, the cyber offenders, are not just hacking technology, they're actually hacking people, right? I mean, one of the DNB has actually released a lot of reports now, especially during pandemic, how the cyber threat landscape changed. And even Microsoft recently came out with a report on exploiting a crisis, how cyber criminals behave during the outbreak. And what I see as a common pattern there was, it's not just an increase in a certain cyber attack that is exploiting the technology, but it's really a COVID-19 themed cyber attack increase, people exploiting the panic. And how do you then, how do you think is the right way for security leaders, especially, to help businesses understand that and to be able to ensure that businesses then listen to security from the very beginning of the development life cycle of DevSecOps, developing a business, providing services, and so on?
That was a short and simple question, right? Yeah, I'll try to start. One of the most important things, as we do in DNB as well, is to focus on all parts of security. As you say, we have seen during the pandemic now, but actually we see it every day before the pandemic as well. That the intruders, the criminals, they use the path of least resistance always. From the traditional, very bad Google translated emails, they are actually calling in on perfect Norwegian. But I also seen attempts, they have been claiming to be DNB security department, calling our customers, sending them to a new criminal to help them. So they are using every angle to hack in. It's not only happening through cyberspace. They use all combinations. You can get an email, you can then get a phone call, then it's an urgent message to click open an attachment because it's an urgent transaction, something, and then they have to get a foothold. So that is the challenge as well today, that you can't only buy security. You need to also get the security mindset on the employees as well. So for a security leader, that's a very important approach to get the balance between all the worlds and let the security professionals and the security architects focus on the technical side, but the leaders must focus more and more on the business to make them understand that everyone, all employees, are part of your security system. That's something we're working quite a lot on.
That's a very good point that you point out here, Lars Eirik, because you just also mentioned and touched upon a key aspect here, which is the security mindset. So what role does actually security awareness play in that?
Of course, a very, very, very important role, and also how we do it. I think that's also something we try to challenge ourselves on how we talk about security. Not only focus on the big media cases, the big bad cases, but and focus on that you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this, this and that can happen, but more on, if you do this, you can make your work even easier, better, involve us earlier, make us understand the business. We can help you, we can support you, we can be your enabler. I think that is, it's not a new way, but I see it more and more in the society as well, in all the businesses, that we are focusing on that part of security, on the more soft side, the human side, as well as the hard technical side.
Yeah, right. And that makes total sense. I mean, just an example, I was talking to my father the other day, and he called me up telling me that some hotel change management called him during this pandemic crisis and just said that, you know what, we are giving you a free upgrade. You and your partner can get a suite for 2 nights and everything is included, it's complimentary. We just need your credit card details to book or reserve. There will be no money that will be deducted, and all this over the telephone. And I usually actually spend quite some time helping my family understand what these things are. And I think that this security awareness bit is something that starts really at home, and you need to spread it in the entire society.
Yeah. And then also focus on that every single employee plays a small part of the security system. It's your workspace, it's your colleague that can be a victim of a crime here. So it's about the small things as well as the biggest cases. And as we have seen during the pandemic as well now, I would say that the focus on crisis management, continuity plans, etc., also is very, very important for most businesses. And I think that has been a bit forgotten chapter in the security work. You need to have the start again, holistic approach. It's everything. Something will happen. That's also some very important part of security work, to actually say to the management, something will happen. We can never prevent everything. Also need to focus on what if everything goes down, what then?
Right.
The crisis management part. Also important work, cybersecurity work.
Right. And that's actually very correct, because I mean, actually the fields and the aspects of cybersecurity or security management, along with risk management and business continuity, they're intertwined, right? You can't really separate them. They all play, exactly. And that really is a holistic approach that I think businesses should focus on. And you're very right in recommending that. But you just talked about the fact that cyber attacks will happen, right? And how do you prepare for it? What do you do? So just because I came across this example, which fits this scenario very well. Hilton was breached sometime in 2015. Actually, the attack started on them 2014. They already had some exfiltration of data. They discovered that sometime in February 2015, but it wasn't until November 2015 that they disclosed it to their customers and publicly gave the information. And they actually went through 2 different data breaches that was ongoing. They even noticed a second data breach that time. And as a result, the New York attorney slapped them with a $700,000 fine, which is just 0.00006% of their annual revenue. Had it been GDPR under place, that would have been 4%. So how do you think when these things actually happen? So one is being prepared for the cyber attack and having the right controls in place, and then ensuring business continuity when it happens. What about the communication part of it?
I see the communication plan as a part of business continuity and the crisis management. You always need to include communication as well. And another example is a successful example. I would say the Norwegian Hydro, the case there.
Right.
They were open from the start. That's a quite unique case. Big kudos to how they handle this, and that's an example for everyone else, I would say. Be open. Of course, something you can't say everything, but be as open as you can. And that's also say one of the main principles from our security policy in DNB is to create a positive environment and be open about security. That's, I think, in the future now. The winners of a security breach are the businesses that are most early open, communicating about it, not try to hide it. That's a mindset. 5-10 years ago, that was the normal mindset. Don't talk about it. But I think today you need to talk about it. You must talk about it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, it fits right into your security mindset approach. And I mean, this is what is important. Everybody, if they talk about what has happened to them, and then when they talk about the data breaches, then everybody will actually realize you're not alone in this. You will learn from each other. You'll basically support each other, and you'll be better. I mean, this is what's happening. Instead of having the offenders that use the dark web for communication and basically use that against us, we need to use this communication as well to the positive part of it, even when we get attacked and breached.
Yeah, and we know that the criminals, they are huge international networks. They are highly professional as well. They have a lot more, most professional ones have a lot more resources. They have normal organizations. They are pros on all sides. And they have a lot more resources than most normal businesses in Norway or anywhere else for that matter. So we need to cooperate, as you say. We need to be open. We need to share information, and that is also why we in DNB this year chose to openly publish our annual threat report.
Right.
Not a huge step.
I think it's a huge step, and it's a wonderful step.
Yeah. So we need to be open. We need to share what we learn with other businesses as well, and we invite others to do the same as well. Because we can't win this alone. It's not possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was really a wonderful thing that happened, I believe. And it's a step in the right direction. So talking about the direction, where do you see, what are your predictions for the next year when it comes to how security is changing and the approach to building cybersecurity and also defending cybersecurity?
We are back again to the holistic approach, because the criminals used all means to get in. They use all domains. They use the cyber domain, the physical domain, and they will most certainly try to manipulate us in all possible ways. That's also one of the chapters we have released in our annual threat report now, is about the deepfakes, the use of AI to create both text, voice, and video. So I think our prediction is that they will see that technical knowledge used even more by fraudsters, by criminals as well.
Right, they're getting better at it.
They are, and the first confirmed case using deep fake voice was last year. They impersonated a CEO, made a phone call, made them transfer quite a lot of money. And that was just the beginning. Imagine someone breaking into a video conference using deep fake video of your CEO. You're talking to him live. So the possibilities there are quite frightening. I'm not sure if you're getting there, but that is something I believe we will see a lot more of. Use new technology. They are on the edge. They are not bound to all our development cycles, etc. They just use the new technology to fool us, actually.
Right. So we will just be seeing more sophisticated, but also the simple ways of just hacking the people more and more in the next years, right? And so we need to really focus on that area and ensure that we are prepared for it, especially with the use of AI and all these technologies that would get better with time as well, and being used both for the good and for the bad, right? That is something that would be how ready we really are for AI based phishing and AI based social engineering attacks and so on.
Another example as well are that we see regularly attempts on mapping our employees by phone, by mail. And that's also a classic. You see the most advanced organized crime groups, they can use months, year to map, to get the information, to find the single most vulnerable point in the organization and then use it. And I believe also the Norwegian National Security Agency now, NSM, they also warned that during this pandemic, they think that some of the most advanced actors may have got a foothold in some businesses. They don't have proof for it, but they're just waiting now, waiting to the panic, the crisis to calm down, and then they will attack. Use the exploit their foothold. So they are very patient. An attack can go on for a year, 2 years.
Yes. That's very correct. I mean, on average, I think attackers sit almost 200 days on an average before they are
discovered.
Exactly. And that's actually frightening, but also at the same time points to the importance of mapping your own attack surface before somebody else does it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Makes a little sense.
Favorite quotes? I have quite a lot of quotes. I actually say I enjoy reading quotes. It's an important piece of history as well to learn about the quotes and the meaning behind it. But I have one single quote that's been following me for many, many years. It's an old, in Latin, civis pacem parabellum, or civis pacem parabellum. I don't know, my Latin is a bit rusty, but in English it's roughly translated to, if you want peace, prepare for war. It's an old military expression, but I think that fits quite good to security as well, because we need to prepare for the worst, because we don't want that to happen.
Right.
So I think that's the mindset of most security professionals, as well as the military as well. We are preparing for war, but we really don't want to go to war. But we need to be prepared if something happens. I think that quote is quite fitting as well for security work. Yeah, it's also describing the catch-22 of working with security. If you do too much, you get the blame. If you do too little, you also get the blame.
Nonetheless, we have to continue doing our best to help the society and our businesses. That's where it is. I think there is very little fame in the cybersecurity work that we do, but that's the ethical responsibility. And I remember I think I tweeted and put it on LinkedIn a couple of months ago that security leadership will be more and more of the ethical role than we have seen in the past, because it really is about serving the business and the society for the greater good of the whole society together.
Yeah, that is also one of the main reasons I like working with security. It's not just about the nitty-gritty geeky details, but also, as you said, the social responsibility we have. It's not just about your business, it's about the society as a whole. That's why DNB as well has included security as one of the 4 pillars under our social responsibilities, and that's something makes me a bit proud to work with security. Actually, it's more than
Absolutely.
just making sure that something is not happening. It's actually preventing a big, huge social problem.
Right, right. And I hope that more and more organizations and companies take that approach going forward. It was so wonderful having you today on this podcast series, Lars Eirik, and it was wonderful conversations, and I learned a lot from you as well, and it's fantastic. So I just want to thank you on that note.
Thank you as well for inviting me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk. I love to talk about security, so this is just perfect. Thank you.
I'm sure we'll do more of that. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to We Talk Cyber with Monica. Do not forget to subscribe to We Talk Cyber in your favorite podcast app and YouTube channel, Monica Talk Cyber. Take care and continue tuning in.